everyone. The guests have arrived. They are entering the stage now. Please give a round of applause to the guests that we have today. We have with us today a very august gathering on the stage, and I feel that the children should please now keep quiet. There is a saying which goes that child is the father of man. ಇಂದಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ ಮುಂದಿನ ಪ್ರಜೆಗಳು. ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಿದ್ದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇಂದಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ ಮುಂದಿನ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು. So today we have an august gathering here with the best of scientists that we can look at, and we have an august gathering here on the stage. And before we start this event, we are waiting for the Nobel laureate, Dr. Ada Yonath, who is a Nobel laureate in chemistry. And before we start this, may I request our student in the senior MSc of Food Science and Nutrition, Dr. Sahana, to render a Veena recital to invoke the blessings of Lord Goddess Saraswati. Thank you, Sana. That was a good one. Varaveena Mridupani. So, children, we also have now Dr. Ada Yonath, who is a Nobel laureate in chemistry. And you know, you should be proud to have a time when you are having the august gathering such as Professor Siena Rao and Dr. Ada Yonath with you. I wish that I was there in the audience and I was also with you in the same school that you are from to listen to such fantastic people. And both of them are elderly people and both of them are so dedicated to science. If you can kindly keep quiet and listen to them, I think you will be enlightened for sure. I'm very, very sure about that. So to start this entire activity now, I request Dr. Anup Kumar Jain, General Secretary of Indian Science Congress Association, Kolkata, to welcome the gathering. Dr. Anup Jain.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable President Professor K.S. Rangappa ji, General President, Indian Science Congress Association. Our chief guest, Professor C.N.R. Rao ji, National Research Professor and President, INCASR. Professor Adyonath, Nobel laureate, Israel, in chemistry. Professor S. Rajendra Prasad ji, Vice Chancellor, University of Agricultural Sciences and Chairman of Organizing Committee. Former VC, Dr. H. Sivanna, University of Agricultural Sciences. Sri N. Srinivasan ji, Honorable Member, UAS. Sri V. Subramani ji, Honorable Member, UAS. Special guest, Akhilesh Gupta ji, Head NCSTC, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Ramakrishna ji, General Secretary, Membership Affairs, ISKA. Dr. Amit De, Executive Secretary, Indian Science Congress Association, and all the dignitaries of the day. Past General Presidents, General Secretaries, and all council members of the Indian Science Congress Association present here. Dear children coming from the different corners of the country, teaching faculties, students, ladies and gentlemen, and media persons also. Today, at this informative moment of the conference, I feel extremely privileged to availing the opportunity of extending a very warm and hearty welcome on behalf of Indian Science Congress Association and my own behalf to this august gathering present here on the occasion of interactive discussions. I take the grand opportunity of welcoming our President, Professor K.S. Rangappa ji, to mention few weighted words about our General President, former VC, University of Mysore, would rather pleasingly elevate my dignity. His unparalleled contribution towards academic excellence has seen the university and ISKA endeavoring to set up the height of science and education. At the very first instance, I am honored to name a very radiant star of the galaxy. I extend a very hearty welcome who is our chief guest of the today's function, Professor C.N.R. Rao ji. He is well-known top scientist of India. He is awarded Padam Shri, Padam Vibhushan and the Bharat Ratna by the President of India. And he is also past General President of Indian Science Congress Association, for whom I can just elucidate that we are fortunate to be inspired by his distinguished work. We all are actually waiting for some shared experience on your part for the benefit of our related discipline. I am pleased to announce that our invitation to Professor A. Yonath for this Congress has been graciously accepted. He is nominated. We express our profound thanks to her. Her presence here has confirmed that this Congress is heading towards the right and positive direction with value-based scientific progression. My welcome address rendition from the core would be complete only by mentioning the name of Honorable Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad, Vice Chancellor, University of Agricultural Sciences, GKVK, Bangalore, whose energetic personality has forever exhorted the student to work challengingly and confidently. The stars are just countless, but mentioning the name of Dr. H. Sivanna, former VC, University of Agricultural Sciences, would again be a matter of pride for me. I seek pleasure in cordially welcoming you. I also welcome to Sri N. Srinivas and Sri V. Subramani from the core of my heart. We also welcome to Dr. Akhilesh Gupta ji, Head NCSTC, we honored to have you among us. I feel proud to cordially welcome the Professor Ramakrishna, General Secretary, Membership Affairs, ISKA. His experience available to the seekers at all fronts by his unstained support and formidable view to the cause of scientific development. Furthermore, my welcome note would be incomplete if I failed to mention the listed personality Dr. Amit Krishnade, Executive Secretary, ISKA. Apart from these, I am honored to welcome all council members of the ISKA along with the distinguished gathering of experts, guests and scientists. Saying to the tune factor, I will be concluding my speech by welcoming the dignitaries, HODs and teaching faculties from other reputed universities, degree colleges in and outside the city. I proudly welcome our esteemed guests and congregation of the scientists, faculty and dear students for their presence today. Of course, the media personnel too need to be welcomed for their active role in reaching out accessibly to the masses. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Jain. And on behalf of the university and on behalf of the Rashtriya Kishore Vaigyanik Sammelan, I have a great pleasure in welcoming you to this function, sir. Thank you so much for having done this. As a mark of the inauguration of this important program, the Science Congress for the Children, it's called the Rashtriya Kishore Vaigyanik Sammelan, and you should be aware that there are several ways by which the children have been selected. Those children who are sitting in the front have been selected based on competition at the district level, and the state level, and the national level, and children representing 2 from every state and 2 from every district in Karnataka state, and 1 group of KV, Kendriya Vidyalaya stream from the entire country's competition have been selected, and the stalls are there. To inaugurate this entire program and to listen to the senior scientists like Professor C.N.R. Rao and Dr. Ada Yonath, may I request the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp at the stage as a mark of respect to the system. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And now, as the beginning of this entire program, may I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Professor S. Rajendra Prasad, to give his introductory remarks about the program.
Good morning to all of you. Okay. So, Honorable Chief Guest for today's function, Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao sir, the National Research Professor and Honorary President, Jawaharlal Nehru Center for the Advanced Scientific Research, Bangalore. And other honorable chief guests for today's function, Nobel laureate, Professor Ada Enath, the Nobel laureate in structural biology from Israel. And our president, general president of this 107 Indian Science Congress 2020, Professor Rangappaji, and also Honorable former Vice Chancellor Dr. Shivannaji, and Dr. Anupam Jainji, and Honorable the board member Dr. Subramanya ji, and Dr. Akhilesh Gupta ji, and Dr. Amit Dey, and also the General Secretary of this 107 Indian Science Congress, Dr. Ramkrishna ji, ladies and gentlemen, press and media, and the most important is children. As you are aware, yesterday Honorable Prime Minister has inaugurated this 107 Indian Science Congress with the theme of Science and Technology Rural Development, wherein the main component of this 107 Indian Science Congress is the Rashtriya Kishore Vaijnanik Sammelan. And here, since its inception, it has proved to be a unique event with the very clear focus on raising the bar of research and innovation since in our country. Friends, in this Science Congress, the targeted Children's Science Congress, the targeted group is the children, the age between 10 to 17, makes it a more relevant as they will carry forward the spark of taking innovation and research in the science to the next level. Friends, the main objective of this Children's Science Congress is to provide a platform to building a scientist to showcase their research work and the projects being developed by them. It is also a motivate to our young and talented children to work in the field of science and technology and make a success career in the same, along with the contributing in solving the problems of our nations. It really encourages the sense of discovery among the students as it gives courage to the participants to raise the question of different aspects of this program. The friends, till today, we have done a lot of exercise to have this Children's Science Congress. Among them, two important events which we have done, that is Infosys Foundation ISCA Travel Awards, for which our UAS team executed the competition formed from the committee and adjudged as a 10 top write-ups from across the country. That is an essay. So now we are going to honor them. And also in addition to this, we also conducted one-minute video competition. This competition was announced for the children in Karnataka, and we have got a very good response from this. Again, dear friends, in these 3 days, what we are going to do here, we are going to exhibit the best projects selected from the national organizations such as National Council for the Science and Technology Communications, and also the Jawaharlal Nehru National Science, Mathematics and Environmental Exhibitions. See, there are about 124 children have been participated. You already seen there are 50 exhibition centers are there, along with this main building, main auditorium. I request all the children to visit those things and get the innovations created, innovations the students have in their mind. And also, we have also district-wise selected the projects from Karnataka through the Karnataka Rajya Vignana Parishad. We have got a registration till 2 days back. We have got about 21 projects have been registered. Yeah, they are really innovative one. And also we have invited talks by the renowned scientists for the children delegates. And also we are going to have the science quiz for the children delegates. Further, the science show is also all of the visiting children. We have the 5 science shows from the Vishweshwaraya Museum, that is on the today and the tomorrow. The child delegates are also privileged to listen to the inspired by the eminent scientists and also the Nobel laureates. My dear children and the friends, I hope you will be encashing this opportunity and get a lot of ideas and most important things. Our Professor C.N.R. Rao, Bharata Ratna, the National Research Professor and Honorary President of the JNCAR, is going to give a inaugural address and the inspiral address to all of you. I hope this will be a grand success. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very kind introductory word that you had. And in the meanwhile, the member of the Board of Regents of the University of Agricultural Sciences, Mr. Subramani, has arrived. I welcome him on behalf of all of us. Thank you for coming, sir. Now, I would like to invite the Nobel laureate. The children, it's something like, I think Nobel Prize is something that all of us would dream. But then when you are a child, it's the passion that this lady had. And from such a humble beginning to getting the Nobel Prize and even now leading a lab, very active and productive lab in the Weizmann Institute in Israel, is something which is because of the passion that she has for science. And I'm very, very happy that she is among there with us. She's a biologist, looking at the biology from the chemist perspective and the structural biology perspective to solve the mysteries that we have on ribosomes, and identifying one of the subunits of ribosome as something phenomenal. And I think you should take the messages home with all these kind of things. May I request Dr. Anna Yonath to talk, and I will bring the mic to her, ma'am. And in the meanwhile, I also welcome her colleague, Professor Benyan Xiong, who is also from the Weizmann Institute. Thank you for coming to us, sir. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Good morning. It's really nice for me to meet you. I assume that you are all here because you like science. Is it correct? You love science. Correct. And you want to know how I became a scientist. So I also loved science when I was very young, much younger than you. When I was 5, I already made my own experiments in my home. And because we were very poor, there were 3 families in 4-room apartment. So the only place for me to make my experiments was in the balcony. And the first experiment that I remember, and I have evidence that it really happened, is trying to find out the distance from the floor to the ceiling of the balcony. So I took all the furnitures that I could and put them together and didn't reach the ceiling yet. So I climbed. I thought if I stand, I will reach the ceiling, and then I will also add my own size. But instead of reaching the ceiling, I reached the ground floor. I fell down and broke my hand. I had 17 fractures. And for half a year, I was with a cast. So I have even an evidence that this experiment started, never finished, but started. So I made many more experiments at home. I don't want to tell you all about them. The one that is of interest, and I again have evidence, is I tried to find out the balance between evaporation and motion in liquids. And I used water and kerosene. Kerosene is the material from which gasoline is being made, and it's very heavy and also flammable. So I had two glasses with a wire in between and started the experiment. My father was smoking, and my mother told him only on the balcony. So you can imagine how this experiment stopped, by a fire. But all this did not change my mind, and I continued with my own experiments. And then when I was at school, I also did experiments there. And I really liked to understand nature, to understand how things happen, what are the powers, and so on. But what I really wanted to be is a writer. I didn't know even that there is a profession called scientist. I thought that science is like a hobby, and I didn't think that anybody will pay salary for hobby. Writing books is also a hobby, but I liked it more. However, I was not good in writing. I was really very weak. Even I didn't like what I was writing. So I went to science. And I want to tell you about the contribution of accidents or of unexpected events. When I wanted to study, I could not decide if I want physics or chemistry. But physics was already almost available for everybody that had a good grade in physics in school. Chemistry, there were only 50 seats, 50 benches. And the year before me, there were more than 800 applicants. So I thought that I should write that my highest priority is chemistry, because otherwise the chemist will not even look at me. And I was admitted to chemistry. Then when I was in chemistry, in the second year, we learned organic chemistry and biochemistry. And for biochemistry, there was a higher competition, less benches. So I wrote biochemistry, and I was admitted. And then, when I had to do my master's degree, there was only one seat in biophysics. And I applied, and I was admitted. So all my university life were dictated by the availability of seats. But I liked it very much. I really enjoyed it. And I decided to take a PhD. And I want to tell you something about this PhD study, because it has to do something with Bangalore, with this city, with India in general. At that time, in India was a giant scientist, one of the giants I ever met, a wonderful scientist, very clever, imaginative, and educating. His name was G.N. Ramachandran. How many of you heard his name? Nobody? Oh, you did. Do you know that he understood how proteins are made, how they fold, and what are the possibilities even before there were computers? He used just little models made of plastic or wires, and from there he invented or understood what is called Ramachandran plot. Some of you probably are using Ramachandran plot in your studies, or will use when you will go into research. This is used until today, and he discovered it in the 60s. It means 60 years ago, almost 70 years ago. Just a fantastic scientist. When I started my PhD studies, my idea, my project was to find out the structure of collagen. Collagen, everybody knows now what it is. It's the protein of the skin. At that time, it was hardly known, and it was hardly, people were hardly able to understand how it's built. It is a triple helix. You all know the DNA double helix. So it is a triple helix, and the scientists were using tails of animals like tails of a kangaroo or of rats in order to determine the structure. And they use this, although the tail is not pure collagen, it's collagen with other proteins around it. One of the pioneers in collagen structure determination was G.N. Ramachandran. And when I decided that I want to do this study, it was because at the Weizmann Institute where I was, models of collagen that had specific amino acid composition were prepared by a professor called Ephraim Katzir, and this was supposed to give much better information about the structure because it was pure. So this was the reason I decided to go, and in the first day of my studies, I made a little fiber from the powder that I got as the model and took an X-ray diagram of it, and it was wonderful. It had almost 20 reflections, whereas from the tails and so on, there were between 5 to 7. So I measured them. It was on film. At that time, everything was on film. And I developed it, and I fixed it, I washed it, and I hanged it to dry in the room of the place where we worked on films, when we developed films. It was a long film. It's very long, almost 30 centimeters, not a small thing. But when I came in the morning, it was not there. I put it to dry at late evening, and it was not there in the morning. So I became very worried. I measured it when it was wet, and I had some measurements, but not all, and not accurate. And I started to look for it, and I cleaned all the bottles and beakers and everything that was there in the room, and I still didn't find it. For 3 days I worked on cleaning, and then I still didn't find it. I went to my supervisor and I said, please forgive me, I lost my first result. You know what he said? It was such a good result that Professor Katzir, who prepared it, went to Madras to show it in a conference. It means my first result was already in a conference here in India, not in Bangalore, but close. I think that G.N. Ramachandran was very impressed by this result. And when he went, actually first time that he left India, he went to Chicago where he got a joint appointment. He stopped in my lab, in my office, and I was more or less 4 months student. He came to discuss collagen, and we had 3 days of discussion of the way to determine it. But we didn't agree how to do it. He had his own way, and I had my own way. I will not talk now about details. And it took me almost 3 years to determine the structure and even show that it is valid for many more models of collagen. And it was different, little different from Ramachandran. Ramachandran's movement of the helix was this way, and I was this way. When I do it with my hand, it looks nothing, but in life it is different. Then we published our results, and at the end, after I already finished and was in America for postdoc, there was a meeting of the International Crystallography Society in New York, and Ramachandran was the chair. And he showed his structure. And then my supervisor showed our structure. And you know what happened? Ramachandran, the big Ramachandran, said to everybody, you know, her structure is correct. Did you meet ever such a gentleman, such a scientist, just a brave scientist, such a wonderful person, and also very, very, very clever. So for me, coming back to India, especially to Madras and to Bangalore, where he moved afterwards to, is a big, big story about the first contact I had with scientists from this country, and I really appreciate a lot of them. So let's go back to you. You want to be scientists, please be prepared that not everything is going the way you want. Not everything is going the way you predict. Not everything is easy, and not everything is possible. And the driving force for going about all these things and still winning is your curiosity. Work and advance along your curiosity. This should be your only measure that you have. Before I finish, I want to provide you with my own advice. I have only one advice. I'm sure you want to hear it. Even if you don't want, I will tell you. My advice is don't look for advices. Go after your thinking, your curiosity, you wish to understand. And my wish is that you will all be successful and that you will all love the work you are doing. Bye-bye for now, and good luck.
Thank you so much, madam. That was very inspiring to me, at least for sure. May I request all the children to stay back and listen to one of the other great scientists that we have. And before we get into that, may I request S. Rangappa to have a couple of words about the program. Professor Rangappa is, incidentally, it's interesting today that we have on dais champions in chemistry, from Professor Rao to Dr. Rangappa. We're all chemists here. Rangappa is also the president of the Indian Science Congress Association.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Professor C.N.R. Rao, Bharat Ratna of the country and distinguished scientist, Professor Ada Yunat, the Nobel laureate from Israel, my dear friend Professor Rajendra Prasad, Dr. Ramakrishna Subramani, Akhilesh Gupta, Amit Krishnade, and Shivanna, former Vice Chancellor, and all the dignitaries on the dais, the children from various parts of the state, parents, ladies and gentlemen, media friends. Children's Science Congress is an integral part of the Science Congress because the children are our hope. Some of the mysteries of the nature are revealed to children because of their spiritual proximity with the vibration of the universe. They seem to possess a special antenna to absorb the waves which communicate to the young ones what is not visible to the naked eye. That's why some of the Western poets crave for infant state when all senses are in their pristine purity. As human beings grow, these senses gradually lose their purity. Hence, the young ones are privileged to see and experience the mystery of nature. The children are basically inquisitive about their surroundings, and their curiosity is the first step towards enabling them to discover new things. Therefore, depending upon the intensity of their curiosity and ability to probe into mystery of things, new discoveries takes place. The two-day event of Children's Science Congress is encouraging children to visualize and stimulate their scientific temperament by giving the school children a unique platform to showcase their innovation and creativity in scientific projects. The Children's Science Congress will help us to catch them young. This is a wonderful platform for them to give us a glimpse of their talent. I am sure some of them, if not all of them, would blossom into full-fledged scientists in future and ready themselves to serve our nation, bring laurels to themselves, their institutions, and their parents. I have a word of appreciation for the teachers of various institutions who have groomed their wards with the guidance and support. Let more and more children take part in Children's Science Congress and take advantage of opportunity. I wish a great success for the Children's Science Congress and my good wishes to all of the participants who are here. The Children's Science Congress is in excellent hands. I thank each and everyone here for having participated, and you are all eager to listen the Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao's words. Thank you one and all.
So much, sir. That was inspiring as always. Now, before we get into the major activity of the program, one other thing that I want to tell you is all the children who have been selected for exhibiting their posters and models had sent an abstract of their project and the kind of work that they have done as individual scientists, young children. So as a part of the Rashtriya Kishore Vaigyanik Sammelan, we have developed a small booklet which I request Professor C.N.R. Rao to kindly release it.
I hope all of you, young people, some of you at least, will take up science and contribute to it. But what is difficult is it requires dedication and doggedness. You have to work very hard, you have to work with sincerity, and I hope some of you will take up science seriously. The amazing thing about science is there is no limit for excellence. You keep on doing science, more you do, more you have to do. So in fact, there is nothing like a limit of what science is. There is a limitless subject, limitless ladder of excellence, I always say. You can keep on climbing the ladder. The more you climb, the more you still have to climb because there is no end for the excellence that you can reach in science. So that is one thing that has absorbed me all these years, and I am very, very happy to be a scientist. Well, I hope you all know this. Just now we completed an year of the periodic table. Many of you must be knowing. Periodic table, we celebrated the year 2019 as the year of the periodic table, and that is because of celebrating the work of Dmitry Mendeleev of Russia. Mendeleev described the periodic table in 1869, long ago, when there was very little known. When he did the periodic table, we did not know what an atom was. Atom was not properly understood. Electrons were not fully understood. In fact, electron was discovered much after the periodic table was found by Mendeleev. Electron was discovered much later in 1896 or something. He did this in 1869. And the reason I'm mentioning him is when you look at his life, what is amazing is he came from rather poor background and he had to study. To study, there was no good university where he was. So he had to go far away in Russia to Moscow, all the way from Siberia. So he and his mother went by foot, walked all the way for 1,500 miles just to go to Moscow. And eventually, of course, he became a very great scientist by trying, because he could discover the order of elements and write it in the form of a table. The reason he could do that was just before he discovered a periodic table, it was decided that the atomic weight of hydrogen was 1. It was decided atomic weight of hydrogen was 1 in 1860. And this helped him to write a periodic table based on the atomic weights of elements. So these stories like this, how people who came from nothing do great things. That is what the hope is. In India too, we have so many children, particularly in our villages. Many of them, I think, can become great scientists if they get an opportunity. Let me tell you the story of one Indian scientist who was in Bangalore, C.V. Raman. You know, C.V. Raman spent most of his life in Bangalore, and if you look at his life, it is very interesting. He was a young man, at only 16 years old. He was studying in a college. Then he was studying in a college. He published 2 research papers. He was 16 years old. And then, of course, it's amazing how at the age of 16, he made a discovery which was worth publishing in a good journal long ago. And later he joined the financial service of Britain, British financial service. He never had a job as a scientist. He was in the financial civil servant under the British government, but he became an officer of the British government, and he was a financial controller or assistant accountant general or something like that in Nagpur. During the daytime he was in the office, in the evening he went to the science college in Nagpur and started doing research. It is that research he did in that college in the evenings that eventually became very famous. He did work on sound, acoustics. He discovered why Indian instruments work in a particular way. There are many discoveries he made in Nagpur Science College. The same thing, then he went to Calcutta as a financial civil servant, and there in the evening he started working in a Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, and the work he did there eventually led to the Nobel Prize discovery of Raman effect. This is the amazing thing. People who have done great research, even in India, have not always had the wonderful facilities, wonderful opportunities, but somehow they did work in spite or beyond the call of duty, beyond the call of anything that you can imagine. Of course, the famous example of an Indian scientist who did extraordinary work is that of Ramanujan. In fact, Ramanujan came from a small place in Tamil Nadu. I hope you all know that. And in fact, I have been there. Even now it is some little place. And there in the evenings and daytime, he would sit somewhere and go on writing his mathematical, whatever, theorems and conjectures. And he didn't have a job. He had not even got to college. He finished high school and couldn't go to college because he didn't pass English exam. So with just a high school qualification, I don't know how he became one of the world's greatest mathematicians. Many people say in the world now, if you pick only 3 mathematicians, greatest mathematicians, he would be one of them. So we had produced, even in India, extraordinary people doing extraordinary things with great difficulty. In physics, suppose there is another example which you all should know, that of J.C. Bose. I hope you know that. J.C. Bose got a bachelor's degree in England and came back, and he was a teacher in Presidency College in Calcutta. It is there that he started doing work and discovered telegraphy even before Marconi did the work. Unfortunately, he didn't get the Nobel Prize. There are a lot of stories about it. And in fact, he did that discovery working in a small college in Calcutta in long ago, in 1895, 19th century. So he was the first great scientist of India, 1895, and he should have got a Nobel Prize, which he didn't. He should have shared it with Marconi. Unfortunately, he didn't get it for various reasons that people talk about. But anyway, we have to remember that even in India, in spite of everything, long before modern India came out, people have done outstanding science. Today, of course, we have many institutions, but what we are lacking in India is hard-working, devoted, dedicated scientists. We need many of them. I want young people to remember that. If you are hard-working, you have made up your mind to do good science, you can do it. Only problem is most people want everything else. They want to make money, they want to do all kinds of things, and do also a little bit of science. That is not possible. Science is something that takes all your time. In fact, even now, at my age of 86, I still work many more hours, and I have this problem with young people motivating them to do science. So science is a demanding master. In fact, there is a story I always tell. My mother used to tell me when I was young, this story. She says, there are 2 goddesses that Indians worship. One, you worship Lakshmi, you also worship Saraswati. Though you worship Lakshmi, Lakshmi is very easy to please. She gives you some money. But Saraswati is very difficult to please. And Saraswati is a goddess who demands everything. In fact, you have to beg and prostrate before her, sacrifice everything. Then only she looks at you. So if you want to succeed through knowledge, discovering new things, innovating new things, then you will have to sacrifice your life just for that. I hope some of you will think of that. Even in India today, we can do very good research. Some of us, there are a small number of Indians even today doing very good work, but we need many more outstanding people in India so that India will be a powerful nation. Why am I saying that? Today, if you see in science, the country which does maximum work in science even today is United States. But amazingly, China is now become very powerful. China is publishing as much science, almost as much science as United States. I'm not worried about the quantity of science, but the quality of science also, we are not doing well in either quantity or quality as well as we should do. So young people like you are the ones that are responsible for the future, and I hope some of you take science seriously. And in saying that, I would like to particularly mention our children in the villages of India. There are nearly 5 or 6 crore children in our villages in India, and there must be extraordinary minds in those villages. We have to get that talent so that some of them become great scientists. Well, the reason I told you about these stories and also talk about this is, people, whenever I go, they look for various other things in life, but very few look at science. In fact, I hope yesterday somebody said that in India, business, banking, money, IT, everything gets mentioned. Very rarely anybody mentions science, either in public or in the government. Science does not get the importance. Unless we give importance to science, from now on, India will be a second-rate country. So the responsibility depends on the young people. What I want to say is, in a Children's Science Congress, we have to decide to do something very important. In fact, that is, dedicate ourselves to do good science, make India a scientific power. In fact, I was giving a lecture in IIT Bombay some 1 or 2 years ago. There were 2,500 students there, very good students, nobody talked, very quiet students, listened to my lecture. In the end, they asked me, what are the qualities required to become a scientist? Well, I just said there are 3 words. You have to have dedication, you must have doggedness, you must have tenacity. And now somebody said, what about intelligence? Of course, I assume you have intelligence, so therefore the other three qualities, unless you have the doggedness, you cannot succeed in science. And they asked me, give me, what do you mean by that? They asked me. I meant, look, how did Gandhiji get freedom for India? He fought the entire British army, British powers, by one man standing there. You know, he didn't have a big army, but he had doggedness, dedication, and he would not give up. So if we don't give up and do science, we can succeed. Well, lastly, I will also say science is a lifetime position. You know, for example, as I said, even now I am now 86 years old, but I work as much as a young person, and I enjoy doing that. There is nothing like a limit for age or limit of anything else. I want young people to know this also. Science does not know religion, science does not know caste, science does not know color. Science wants good capital, namely good human minds. And it is the mind of the man that makes science. But it is not the brain. The brains are there even in small animals. But the mind of men is the one that is required. The mind of men in India, mind of women in India, minds of men and women will have to contribute to Indian science. And I hope that will happen. Because I've been very much interested in seeing that India does science well and good science in a very big way. And somehow that has not yet happened. Well, I always tell a story to them. When Professor C.V. Raman was alive, just about if I'm not mistaken, in 1970, there was a meeting of the Indian Academy. I was very close to Professor Raman. He said, you must come and give a lecture in Bangalore in the Indian Academy in 1970. Then I was a professor of chemistry in IIT Kanpur. I came all the way to give a lecture. And after giving that lecture, he was telling me, Professor Rao, why is it that India, after so many years of freedom, why is it not a powerful country in science? I am now 81 years old. Why is it that India is not powerful in science? Well, I feel the same way now. I am 86 years old. Why is it India is not on top of the world? I think these are the things you should worry about. These are the things your teachers should tell you about. These are the things newspapers should write about. Unfortunately, you see very little of that. And more other than that, other than talking about science and importance of that, we also should have taken pride in doing science in India, not just anywhere else. So I hope some of you young people will take not only science, but do extraordinarily well in science. Well, you know, there are many, many stories in science I have not told you. My own greatest hero in science is Michael Faraday. And I don't know whether you know it, many of you may know it. He had only 3 years of schooling. With 3
Thank you so much, sir. And I request Professor S. Rangappa, the General Secretary of the ISCA, to kindly felicitate Dr. Ada Yonath with the memento, please. As I said, thank you so much, sir. As I said, this program was supported financially by the National Council for Science, Technology, Communication, NCSTC, a part of the Department of Science and Technology in New Delhi. And we have Dr. Akhilesh Gupta, who is the head of the NCSTC. I request our former Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Shivanna, to kindly felicitate him by giving this plaque on behalf of the university as a mark of gratitude for the financial support to us. Professor Shivanna is another excellent scientist from whom I learned plant genetics, and I request our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad, to felicitate him by giving a small memento to Professor S. Shivanna. Thank you very much, sir. And I will also request Professor Shivanna to inaugurate the exhibition stalls of our children who have been selected under the NCSTC program. Now, going ahead, there is one thing which is very interesting, and every year, ISCA, along with the Infosys, provides some 10 excellent children with a travel grant to attend the Indian Science Congress Association. I request Dr. Amit Krishna Dey, Executive Secretary of the Indian Science Congress Association, to read out the names of these children, and I will request him to now read out the name. And before Dr. Amit Krishna Dey reads these things, I request the Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad, to give a memento to our honorable member of the board, Dr. Subramani, for having graced this occasion. Thank you so much, sir. Now to go ahead with the real things of calling out the names of the Infosys INSCA awardees.
So I have the pleasure of informing you of the ISCA Infosys Foundation Travel Award. This travel award was instituted with a donation from Infosys Foundation, Bangalore, and in 2004-2005. And it was decided that it will be given to 5 students up to class 12 during the annual session of the Indian Science Congress Association, and this will be based on their write-up of what recent trends in science has motivated them. So that write-up will come, and the host university will form a committee to select. It was also decided that 5 more deserving students will be funded for attending this session from the amount which is received as royalty from the publication of Shaping of Indian Science, which was published, where the President's address of all presidents from 1914 onwards is being published. So there are 10 awards, 5 awards with certificate and 5 with certificate only. And this year also, the Infosys Travel Award is given, and the host university selected on the basis of the applications received, essays received from all over India. So we have 10 awardees. I will announce the first 5 who are getting award and certificate, and I request our chief guest, Professor C.N.R. Rao, to kindly hand over the awards to the children along with the other dignitaries. So I call Anhed Singh from St. John's High School, Chandigarh. Second, Ritvik from Daffodils Foundation for Learning, Sanjay Nagar, Bangalore. Third, Mukta S. Kumar, Kendriya Vidyalaya, Belnagar, Kolar. Fourth, Saubhagya Singh, Shilling House School, Kanpur. And fifth, Zainab Saman Basur Rahman from Fajandar High School and Junior College, Raigad. Then we are announcing the 5 more who will get certificates, and I received our chief guest, Professor Yada Yognath, Nobel laureate, to hand over this along with Professor Sena Rao and other dignitaries. Zenith Riverian Public School, Majra, Dehradun. Anjali D, ZPHS, Kambalpalli, Mahabu, Babat. This is from a tribal area and the tribal awardee. M. Chandana Yati, PVR Zilla Parishad High School, Anantapuram. K. Jaya Surya Yadav, PVR Zilla Parishad High School, Anantapurma. And the last one, Pooja Tamta from Riverian Public School, Dehradun. So I congratulate all the awardees. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Amit Krishna Day. And as the last child taking the award. And to make this event immortal, I would suggest that the children will go and stand behind the dais, and maybe there can be a photograph taken as quickly as possible. Thank you so much. Thank you, children. Thank you, sir. And yeah, please. Thank you so much. You can walk that side now. I know it's getting late for lunch and for the inauguration as well. May I request Professor Ramakrishna, General Secretary of the Membership Affairs of the ISKA, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
It is my proud privilege and honor to propose vote of thanks on this historic occasion of inaugural session of Children's Science Congress. This day will be remembered as a milestone in the minds of children, as it provides an opportunity for them to use their scientific temperament and knowledge and to put creative energy in conducting scientific experiments. On this occasion, the Honorable Chief Guest, Professor C.N.R. Rao, Bharat Ratna from Karnataka, National Research Professor and Honorary President, JNCA SR Bangalore, has delivered an inspiring talk and motivated the children of the country. This has made children to develop a lot of interest in science and technology
On behalf of the Indian Science Congress Association and University of Agriculture Sciences, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Bharat Ratna, Professor C.N.R. Rao. I also wish to express my gratitude to Professor Ada Yonath from the most prestigious Weizmann Institute, Israel, for her inspired speech and valuable contributions. The children are lucky that they have not only met the Nobel laureate today personally, but they have also listened to her in rapt attention. We are grateful to our General President, Dr. K.S. Rangappa, his able guidance and has enabled us to conduct the Science Congress in befitting way. He is a hard taskmaster, but he is equally gentle in approach. My heartfelt thanks to distinguished guests, Dr. Akhilesh Gupta, Head NCSTSC Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, New Delhi. Dr. H. Sivanna, former Vice Chancellor, UAS Bangalore. Honorable Member, Board of Member, Subramani, UAS Bangalore. I express my sincere thanks to Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Vice Chancellor, UAS Bangalore, and Chairman Organizing Committee for his support and valuable guidance for the successful conduct of this historic Congress. The expectations is that each Science Congress must be an improvement on the previous one. In that sense, Professor Rajendra Prasad has achieved a high watermark. I would like to convey my thanks to Dr. Anup Kumar Jain, General Secretary, Scientific Affairs, ISKA, Kolkata, Dr. Amit Krishnade, Executive Secretary, ISKA, and Neena Joshi, Convener, RKVS 2020. All of them have worked day and night to make this Science Congress most memorable one. Children of today are the full-fledged citizens of tomorrow. The participants of the Children's Science Congress have found many opportunities to have their skills by observing senior scientists. I am sure they will fulfill their dreams as they grow up. I also express my sincere thanks to print and electronic media for wide coverage of this event. I take this opportunity to thank everyone involved in making this Children's Science Congress great success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And we can now, after Professor CNR departs, we can go to the stalls and we'll have the inauguration.